All right, I'm gonna move the sheep real quick and then we're gonna get right into it. All right, here we go. Come on, girls. Come on. Hip, 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 hip. Come on, girls. Come on. Come on, girls. Come on. Come on, girls. Hip, hip, hip. Come on. Ho, ho, ho. Get in there. That's how you do it. All right, I moved the sheep to their new pasture, but I keep thinking about this thing that I remember Joe Biden saying back in the day, like a couple years ago, right after he got into office.
Regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages.
Do you remember when he said that? That he said that the food shortages would be coming? This is Tucker Carlson talking about right after he said that the food shortages would be coming. Here's Tucker Carlson.
Met with the group, Biden said. They spoke about, quote, how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. That's what Joe Biden said, verbatim. It's on tape. So here you have the President of the United States pledging to increase food shortages at a press conference. Now, that seemed like a newsworthy event, but not a single news organization in this country seemed to notice it happened, nor did the White House correct it. But others were watching, so within days, that clip wound up on social media, and Facebook flagged it immediately as, quote, false news. Now, strictly speaking, that's untrue. There's nothing false about the video. It was entirely real. No one can test that. But apparently, Facebook users were supposed to understand that Joe Biden is senile, and therefore he's not accountable for his own words. Taking Joe Biden literally qualifies as, quote, misinformation. Now, we'll leave that whole episode for you to assess. We can't know what Joe Biden was thinking, if anything, when he uttered those words in Brussels. We can only tell you what happened afterward. Strange disasters began to beset food processors all over the United States. In April, the next month, the headquarters of one of this country's largest organic food distributors was destroyed in a fire, cause unknown. The next month, in a single week actually, 2 separate private plane crashes took out 2 separate food processing centers. One plane hit a General Mills plant in Georgia. The other plane hit a food plant in Idaho. By the way, back in February, a boiler explosion obliterated a potato processing plant in Oregon, and so on. So even people who aren't given to connecting the dots, who don't think of themselves as conspiracy nuts, began to wonder, is there something here? On Saturday, an enormous commercial egg farm in central Connecticut burned to the ground for no obvious reason. Huge fire. At least 20 fire departments responded, fought the blaze for over 8 hours. More than 100,000 chickens died. Now, that's a sad story, but what's interesting is that most media companies did not consider it a story at all. Weird, considering egg prices have become an actual problem for most Americans. Egg prices are up more than 100% in many places.
Egg consumption has grown over the years as many people are eating them as their main protein source. But the production has slumped because of the ongoing bird or avian flu epidemic. Over the last year, the USDA says nearly 58 million birds have been infected in the U.S., making it the deadliest outbreak in U.S. history. Unfortunately, the infected birds have to be killed, causing the egg supplies to fall and prices to surge. In some cases, stores are running out and limiting the amount people can buy.
We bought eggs earlier this week here at Fry's in Levine. We paid $8.99 for a dozen eggs.
I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and I know that sometimes you're going to forget these things, right? You're going to forget this pressure that we're having on our food system. I just showed you guys 1.8 million chickens were euthanized. You know, a lot of experts in the field are saying that if the chickens were getting the avian flu, you wouldn't kill them off, right? You would let them go. The sickly ones are going to die, okay? And then the healthier ones are going to battle through it, and that's how you get herd immunity. To just walk in and burn up and destroy all of the chickens, well, that's not medically how you would do that, but that's what you would do if you were trying to destroy the food system.
I'm not going to eat bugs. That's crazy, right? And Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum in their little video, they said by 2030 you're going to have to eat a lot less meat to save the planet. So how are they going to get people to eat bugs? Well, a combination of propaganda, indoctrinating children, and making you very, very hungry. And what you'll find as you look at these policies is every single one of the national and state and local policies traces directly back to various UN and World Economic Forum programs like Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030 was signed by every national government in the world in 2015 on behalf of the United States. Barack Obama called it an executive agreement. And it's a plan to totally transform every element of our lives. In fact, the head of the UN General Assembly at the time called it the Master Plan for Humanity. And if you read the preface, it says over and over again, no one will be left behind. And so a big part of this, as you read it, and I tie all the points back to that, is you got to transform agriculture, you got to transform the food supply, you got to transform every element of life. And so in keeping with that UN report on using government propaganda, here's the World Economic Forum promoting insect farming. As we speak, they're actually building the largest insect protein manufacturing facility in the world in Decatur, Illinois. So the World Economic Forum thinks you need to eat the bugs. And here is the government-funded propaganda outlet known as PBS.
The future of food is being revolutionized by science, as new research helps bring unexpected ingredients to the table.
Kind of tastes like shrimp. They have this seafood quality to them.
It reminds you of like a Frito or a chip.
Yes, just a Frito or a chip, okay? So, it's crazy talk, right? And so, this actually comes from my home state of Florida. Everybody thinks our government schools in Florida are great. They're not, but this was sent to me by the parent of a concerned 5th grader. She was told that she had to do these workshops, and bugs are the food of the future. And she said, actually in the class, they told the kids that eating meat is bad for the planet. Your parents are bad for wanting to eat steak all the time. They say, here's the list of how much CO2 emissions, right? Crickets. You get 47.47 kilos of crickets per ounces of CO2, whatever, and you see that apparently bugs are really, really sustainable. The government knows quite a bit about eating bugs. Turns out it's very, very unhealthy. I pulled these right out of the National Library of Medicine 2017 study funded by the government. Said that the chitin in bugs, the exoskeletons, will provoke human innate immunity to generate a deluge of inflammatory cytokines which injure organs and, in persistent situations, lead to death, multiple sclerosis, systemic lupus, and cancer. Sign me up, right? So the goal, folks, is not to save the planet. It's not to save the climate. Like the revolutionaries used to say back in the 60s, the Students for a Democratic Society, the issue is never the issue. It's not about global warming. It's not about sustainable development. It's about enslaving humanity. They want to wipe out small, medium-sized producers, centralize food control in the hands of mega corporations in bed with the mega governments. They want to move the population into the mega cities and ultimately bring about this great reset and what they call the New World Order. And I'm out of time, but I'll leave you with
Dr. Kissinger, our satellite time is running out. What wonderful opportunity to conclude our week here with such concrete proposals and ideas of how we can really create, I would say, a new world order.
I just showed you guys too that there's 1.8 million birds just euthanized here too, on top of the other 1 million and 2 million and 500,000. I mean, there's a lot of attacks going on in our food systems right now. So make sure you're paying attention to that and you're staying prepared on your preps, okay? Because if something happens, already if you would have saved, when I first started talking about this, if you would have put up some food stores and had a little food store savings, you'd be saving money eating right now because all of our food has gone up since I started talking about this stuff, right? So it's not just for emergencies. I know people that were doing food storage and then they lost their job and it took them like 7 months to get another job. So they basically lived off that food storage and it helped them make it to the next crunch. So this isn't just about, you know, surviving the coming apocalypse. This is just about surviving in general and to always be prepared so you're not scared. All right, stay in prayer, you guys. Stay vigilant out there. Share this video with your friends so we can help remind people what's going on out here. Nothing that you see right now is happening organically, okay? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, we'll see you on the next video. A video every day, so make sure you're checking in.